entry-level Scrum Master certificates that's very popular out there. We have the PSM1, we also have the CSM certificate. And now you are at the position you are ready to look at what kind of entry-level Scrum Master certification will I take? And the question is, should I go for PSM1 Scrum Master certificate or should I take CSM1 Scrum Master certification? By the end of this video, the goal is for you hopefully to see the comparison between CSM certification and also PSM1 certification so that it can help you make your decision on which one to go for. Welcome back to Aisha Scrum. I'm very happy to have you all join my platform. From my existing subscribers and my new subscribers, I welcome you all to the channel. So let's get into it. So my goal in this video is for you to learn about the difference between CSM certificates and PSM certification. And hopefully by the end of this video, you are able to make your own decision. This is all going to be based on research, what I found online, and based on my experience about what I know about both different certifications. So the first question to answer is CSM certificate and PSM1 certification the same or different? The answer is it is actually the same level, right? You do not have to take both. I once come across someone that told me like, oh, I have PSM1 and I have CSM. I was like, why would you take PSM1 and CSM certificate? Both of them are seen in the market as the same level of entry-level certification for Scrum Master. So you basically only need to take one. And the decision on how to make your decision, it's your decision. That doesn't even make sense, right? But so that's what I meant. So what does both certification cover? So basically PSM1 and CSM certification covers everything you need to know about Agile, Scrum, like what you need to understand about being a Scrum Master, and basically like a knowledge-based foundational course, And for people too that already have experience too, and you want to go back and further continue learning and improve the current state. Because sometimes when you're working in a space, you'll be so invested in the company's culture, you might even sometimes drift away from the actual knowledge itself. So sometimes when you see people that want to go back to the market, like for me, when I wanted to go back to the job market, the first thing I started to do was to go back and start certification. And sometimes people ask me like, oh, Aisha, is it mandatory for all Scrum Masters to have certification? To be honest, back in the day, it is not mandatory for you to have certification for you to apply for jobs. But nowadays, because I like to browse through jobs out there and look there, because I have a lot of students, right, a lot of mentees, to better help support them so myself I can be knowledgeable with what's in the market, right? I've always seen that now they are requiring people to have a Scrum Master certificate. And with that, so now a lot of people are forced to go in and invest money and take this certificate. For me, it's for the same thing. I didn't feel the need to take certificate. And if you look at my LinkedIn, I don't have a lot of certificate because I believe there is no better experience than your job experience. And also like I see getting certification as validation, but not getting certification as, oh, yes, I know all of these things, but at least just to help me to check a box, like when I'm applying for jobs. But nowadays, unfortunately, it's required, right? So, and speaking of the CSM certificate and the PSM1 certificate, both of them covers like the foundation, like the Scrum Guide, the Agile Manifesto, like user story, how to manage a product backlog, how to work collaborative with your team, what are the Scrum events. It covers all these different basic about Agile and Scrum, and some of them too I covered it on my YouTube page, right? But sometimes too you need those classes so you're able to get the certification, because why? We will know if we have exam. So that's the process I'm experiencing. Both gonna cover Agile and Scrum. So Agile and Scrum. So both basically covers Agile and Scrum. I'm saying Scrum because the certification is either CSM that certifies Scrum Master, right? And the PSM is Professional Scrum Master. So that's what both of them cover. So then the next question is what is the prerequisites for you to even to attend this class, right? What is the requirement? Do you supposed to already have experience working in the agile space before you can get into this space? You take the exam, or basically anyone can come in here and take the certificate. Now, based on my research, I've seen for the most part, like when it comes to the CSM, you are required to attend the 2 days class, right? 2 days class. So that's for the CSM. You are required to attend the 2 days class. And by the end of that 2 days class, then the goal is for you to hopefully then get that certification. And the PSM is actually, I've seen so far, a lot of people that do the PSM, they do a lot of self-learning. And it's not required for you to attend 2 days class for you to sit for the exam. Basically, if you do your research, you get your knowledge, or you join a program like mine and other programs out there where it can help prep you to study for take the PSM1 exam. And if you study for that, then you can basically sit for the exam. Hopefully those classes will prepare you, and a lot of YouTube videos too that you might study. All those can help prepare you for that. And actually Scrum.org also have classes around preparing students to take PSM1 exam. But they just did not make it mandatory that you must attend the class for you to even sit for the exam. So that's why sometimes you will see a lot of people might just do the self-learning, do their research, attend some programs, and then they will take the PSM1 exam. And when we get down here around money, you're all gonna know why some people sometimes do that, but the requirement is 0. And do you need like a years of Scrum Master experience to take the PSM? No, I didn't see anywhere that stated that you must have a Scrum Master experience to take certification. And I know CSM too, they do ask that sometimes you have some kind of knowledge or experience around being a Scrum Master before you attend the class. But PSM, I didn't see that. But for the most part, they actually can also let people that are entry level to come in and study and get that class to get the certification. So the next thing that's around that, the prerequisite around to take the exam. So the next thing we have is around if there's any exam, like I have to use my cheat sheet for this one. So is there any exam requirements for these 2 certification? The answer is yes, there is exam that's required for both certificate, regardless if you're taking the CSM1 or you are taking the PSM1. I said CSM1. If you're taking CSM or PSM1, you do require to take an exam. And for the CSM, the exam is basically 50 question, 50 Q&A, and you have an hour to complete it. You have 50 questions, you have an hour to complete it, and the exam is only multiple choice, only multiple choice. And the class that you take, this 2 days class that you take in the CSM class, actually they cover a lot of those questions too in the class. And the class is very collaborative. They do like a lot of team building activities, very engaging and all of that. And for the most part, at the end of the class, the people will just take the exam. And it's 50 questions for 1 hour. And unlike the PSM1 exam, you have an hour, 80 questions. Let me start. 80 questions for 1 hour. So you have 80 questions for 1 hour. And you have like select all that apply. You have click and drag. So you have click and drag for PSM1. You have like all these different questions. You have 80 questions for 1 hour. 80 questions. And you are required to have 74% to pass. 74% to pass. And the PSM1 exam, you require 85% to pass. 85% to pass. And to be honest, talking about level of difficulties, the PSM1 is actually more difficult exam to take than the CSM. The PSM1 is actually very difficult. I don't think I've seen people that take the PSM1, they'll be like, oh, it's so easy and all of that. You see that a lot for CSM, but you hardly see that ever for PSM1 when someone be like, oh, it's so easy. And the good thing about this exam for the PSM1 is that it's heavy focus on the Scrum Guide, right? I know people are like, oh, why? Why is it so difficult? Because the Scrum Guide is only 14 page, right? It's not like a question where they will ask you what is Scrum, or what is the daily Scrum, or what is the retro. It's like an application test. So there's a lot of critical thinking involved when you're taking the PSM1 exam. And if you're not familiar in taking like application tests, it's going to be difficult for you to pass that exam. But it is very doable. And by the way, you can pass this exam, and anything you put your heart into, I believe you can. Anyone can do that, right? And if that this have been valuable to you, please like and subscribe to my channel. I really, really will appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I really, really will appreciate it. So yeah, so that's around the level of difficulty and the exam and all of that. So the next thing is, who is accredited by these two certification? Who is their body, right? So for CSM, we have Scrum Alliance. And I have a chicken handwriting, in case people that cannot see my chicken handwriting. And for PSM, we have the Scrum.org. Yeah. So we have Scrum Alliance, which is the accredited body for the CSM, and we have the PSM1, which is the Scrum.org. And when you go to this both website, you can definitely go in. You can tell you when you go under accreditation, you can see all the steps. It will guide you and show you about your certification and all of that. So those are two different accredited bodies around it. But to be honest, they both are really good. I really like both of them. I still go to both websites, but I still feel like it's always your choice to choose either or. I don't see there's anything wrong with selecting one over the other. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the certification costs, right? So I think cost is that one thing. I feel like the cost is that one thing sometimes that get a lot of people that will go for the PSM1 exam. And that's because due to the class attendance for the CSM, and also a lot of their trainers are certified accredited trainers, the cost sometimes can go from $500 to $1,000. Like, it depends. Sometimes if they're doing sales, they're doing promotion, that will determine the cost for that. But for the most part, you might pay around that area for you to attend the 2 days course, and at the end, then you can have the access to take the exam. But for the PSM1, guess how much is the cost? The cost is $150. $150. So that's why sometimes you're gonna find a lot of people that want to transition into the space. Like, they will do a lot of self-learning. They will watch YouTube videos. They will do all of this learning and get to understand it first. And they look at the price. They're like, oh, it's $150. Maybe I can try to see my understanding. Then after that, then if I fail, then I can invest in a program. The reason why I'm saying this is that because I've gotten a lot of students that will come to me telling me such stories like, oh, I watched your YouTube video, I watched other YouTube videos, and I took this the PSM1 certification and I failed the exam. So now I want to get into a classified program where they can help prepare me not only to understand Scrum, but also to help me prepare me for this job. And that's when they will join our Aisha Tech level 1 program, and they go through the whole trainings, which one of our coaches teaches that course. I do not teach it, but I have one of our coaches that teaches level 1, and they teach that course. And at the end of it, then that will prepare you for the PSM1 exam. And I don't see anything wrong with people doing that too, because sometimes before you want to fully invest yourself in something, I believe in doing research and learning about something, and at least see if you like it or not before you fully can put money and invest it, because sometimes those programs is a little bit costly, right? Even our own is $1,000. It's not as expensive like other people. All right, so that's that for the certification cost. So now you can see why sometimes people will do that. So now let's talk about the renewal cost, right? So when it comes to retake, before I talk about renewal cost, let's talk about retake, right? Let's assume that you take the exam for the first time, the CSM1, you take as I keep saying CSM, there's no such thing as CSM1. Let's say you take the CSM exam and you failed. According to what I saw online, you have like 2 attempts within that 90 days to pass the test, and without you having to pay the retake, right? But unfortunately for PSM1, when you fail the first attempt, you have to pay again 150 again to retake it, right? I was researching. I was like, oh, I thought it was the people who have discounts for retake. I think it depends if you join a program, then maybe that program will give you some kind of discount. So then they will help you. So you pay $50 to retake it. But for the most part, if you do self-learning, you'll have to pay it yourself to retake the exam again. But let's say after you already passed the 90 days for the CSM and you want to retake it, it costs like $25 for retake, like $25. While in the PSM, it costs the same, 150 again to take that exam. Again for you, hopefully that you can pass. Let's say now you pass, you took your exam, yeah, you get your certification. So now what happened next, right? That's where the renewal is very important, right? The renewal cost. So far what I'm saying for the CSM, you actually will have to renew it every 2 years. The certification is only good for 2 years. So every 2 years, you have to renew your CSM certificate. But the PSM1, the certification is good lifetime. No renewal. And the cost to renew CSM certification, guess what? You have to go back to the class, because it believed then there might things that might have changed in this ever-changing space, right? And there's always something new, like every 1 or 2 years. So the goal is for you to go back and get yourself get yourself in the class, learn about the latest thing, and learn about everything that changed, your updates, all of that. And at the end of it, so you now take your CSM, either you take CSM exam, but for the most part, people will actually take the next level, which is like the advanced CSM. Then hopefully then you are also working, and then you can take the next level, which is the ACSM certificate, which that's the next level. But the PSM1, if you pass the certification, guess what? You are done for that PSM1, but the next class, the next level after PSM1 is PSM2. PSM2. So now looking at all of what we've already highlighted between the difference between CSM, taking a CSM class certification, and getting the PSM1 certification, what certificate would you get? Tell me down below in the comments, what certification do you have and why? And did you consider, did you do your cost benefit analysis, or did you do or compare the pros and cons for both certification before deciding to choose one? If so, which of the certification did you choose and why? Tell me in the comments so we can continue this conversation. And if you're interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email us at admin@aishascrumtech.com. Thank you for watching this video. See you all again in our next video.